Hardest parts about being a genuinely intelligent, dark-skinned black man is that despite the bad thing that's happening to you because of society, you understand why it's happening. Like
Mm-hmm.
not to give an excuse or anything, but you know how we
The
got
reason.
here. And that
Yep.
understanding somehow grants you a little bit of peace, weirdly enough. Like, and maybe some semblance of control that maybe you could prevent this from happening again. And I've gotten really good at that, yes. You get put in a situation and I go back and analyze. I'm really good at analyzing stuff. I can't remember what I analyzed, but I can analyze it. I go back and I think and I say, well, how did I get here? You walked down this road. You were looking like this. But
Oh,
you shouldn't have to dress differently. I still wear my black hoodie out, you know what I'm saying, with my hood up. But it's like when I
you
see
understand
a
why.
cop looking at me suspicious, just pop the hood off right fast, bro. Just so they can put themselves at ease. Cause one thing people gotta understand about cops, they're still humans. I know they're held to a higher standard, but everybody falters. Everybody suffers from some kind of anxiety, bro. Some past that affects them in certain situations. And no matter who you are, you're going to make a bad judgment call. I see some of these body cams and I'm like, on some of them, I'm like, oh, I might have popped you too. Cause sometimes it's like, what the fuck? And other times it's like, nah, I kind of understand why they popped you. You do have to protect yourself and you can't assume somebody's not going to hurt you, especially when they're genuinely acting aggressive. You don't got too much time to think. And a lot of people don't really have the ability to think under pressure any fucking way. So I understand is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And the understanding changes things because you can put yourself in their shoes and realize ain't no point getting emotional about it. Ain't no point. There's several factors here that you got to think about that it ain't even personal. It ain't even personal. They don't even, it's
No,
not you. You just in the wrong place.
that right there. That's the thing I always say. It's not personal. Too many
Mm-hmm.
people take things personally. Well, it felt personal. Yes, that's because you were involved. It was about you. But what we mean by don't take it personally is that this person is not trying to attack you specifically. This is a product of a situation that you just so happen to be in the vicinity of. That's all it is. Don't take it personally. Like this white person just called me a nigga. I'm not going to take it personally. Maybe bro had a bad run-in with some blacks when he was younger, and now he just hates all blacks, which would be under fucking standable. Is it
Maybe his
right?
girlfriend
No.
left him for a black guy.
Yes, something that makes you hate a specific sect of people. You're not allowed to hate a person by race, but if I have a bad encounter with this said race and multiple bad encounters with this said race, and now I got a problem with this said race, how is that making me racist? Ain't y'all racist for fucking with me?
Okay. Stereotypes are created to give us a quick idea of who a person is without knowing who a person is. So if your stereotypes are built negatively,
And that's the thing about stereotypes. They're shrouded in truth. There's a reason why certain stereotypes sticks and other ones don't. Like it's not to say that a majority of these people act this way, it's to say a large portion. A large enough portion to where multiple other sects of people have taken notice.
it's pattern recognition.
Yeah, it's a reason why, we don't have the stereotype of having small dicks. You know what I mean? And white guys and Asians do. Like there's,
When I made the joke of fried chicken and watermelon.
well, now that's more like a slavery thing. But fun fact, I do not actually like fried chicken. And then the next thing a person says is, do you eat chicken nuggets? There's a difference between fried chicken and breaded chicken.
No, 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 no. First off, fuck chicken nuggets to hot nuggets. Okay? It is the weirdest
Uh,
thing. No. The answer is no. I don't care where they come from. I don't care. It's not the same in any way, shape, or form. Fuck chicken nuggets. I don't.
Chicken nuggets. Man, look, I ain't gonna lie. I fuck with some chicken nuggets, some tendies. I'll fuck some shit up. Look, hey, I'll eat some baked chicken. Okay, how about this? I don't like hard fried chicken. How about that? I don't like when it's like stupidly crunchy where it might cut the roof of my mouth if I bite too deep into it type shit. Like, let me just get,
So like,
man, I know you done had that chip fried chicken that they fry it like 2 or 3 fucking times. So it's got that crispy outside of it and shit. But sometimes the skin start breaking apart and then it gets stuck up fried and now it's hard as shit. I don't be fucking with it.
All right, I can't judge 'cause I don't do. I have a thing with spicy food, so
Like, you don't do spicy?
I fucking hate spicy foods.
I'm not a fan of spicy either.
I have
I
trauma associated with spicy food.
see, you never know. Somebody dared you to take a shot of hot sauce or
See, when I was young, my father, for whatever reason, I don't know. It's part of why I have a grudge, right? This man put hot sauce over eyes and mouth when I was young, so you have to understand how much that burnt. And ever since I have a slight issue with spicy.
was it for a punishment?
Nope, it was not.
It was just to toughen you up.
Yeah,
Well, I guess the next question is, did it work? Are you tougher now?
in a way, but that had nothing to
Mm,
do with the spiciness. Like that event was so far back. Like that was what 4 or 5, maybe. Yeah, the toughness came a lot later for a
I
whole separate set of reasons.
see. I guess I'm just projecting because my dad never poured like hot sauce in my eyes or nothing crazy like that. But my dad was a little tough with the hands and also very tough with the words, which is a big reason why words don't really bother me because my dad has
I'm
probably said worse things to me. So, and when I was a child at that, and then it was consistent. Like for is it six? Yeah, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. My dad took me to school in the morning. My mom picked me up because we moved, but I wanted to stay at the school I was at because I was pretty much there the entire time, friends, whatever. So they had to take me to school. So my dad made sure I started my day with a nice berating from him about how much I suck, how I could do better, I stink, I'm not cool enough, whatever the fuck. He wanted me to be like my way older brother who's like 20 years older than me. And the problem he had with my older brother was that my older brother was short because my dad was kind of like a big dude. So, but my brother was tough though, you know. He would always say, your brother was the shortest guy out there, but he was the toughest. And I didn't exude that same toughness, even though I had the stature that he was looking for in his son. So he, in his own way, tried to toughen me up. And honestly, he did. I'll admit I can take a hit. I can take a joke. I know how to analyze as a result. Do I, is it a complicated relationship? Like most fathers and sons, yes. Do I hate him? No, I don't have to. I mean, I'm happy with who I am. And he's a large reason why I am who I am, regardless of whether I like his actions or not. And I try to keep that in mind.
It's crazy how opposite our experiences are. Because like the shit I got was often not that I wasn't as good, but that I was wasting my potential. The amount
Mm,
of times you were capable of so much, but you're just doing nothing with it, and all that did was make me want to do even less. I do not like being pressured into things, and for me, every time I did well, it felt like there was just gonna be something else thrown at me. You can do this now. You can do this. Well, you can do this. It's like, yep, no, I don't want you throwing shit at me.
good workers are rewarded with more work.
Yeah, it's like, nope, I'm good. It's not worth it. Which actually might have led into my delinquency.
Yeah, they do say a lot of delinquents are actually highly intelligent, which makes sense. Boredom and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's also an issue. I do get bored easily.
Yeah, I try to channel my boredom because my father also told me he's like, if you ever wind up in jail, I'm gonna leave you there, and I believed him. He was waiting for my brother to wind up in jail or killed because he was selling drugs at one point. So he was like, if you
Yeah,
go to jail,
that,
you gonna stay there. I said, God damn it! Now I can't do bad things.
that I have in common. But see, in my head, it wasn't I can't go to jail. It was I can't get caught.
See, my life works where I'm always the one getting caught. Like
Yeah, I believe that.
if you were stealing, if Malik was stealing, if Candy was stealing, y'all would just
You
slip
get
away.
yelled up.
The moment
Yep.
I do it, I'm getting yoked up by the back of the car. Like, hey, look, nigga, no. Like it's like literally, I can name so many situations. Here's one: middle school. Everybody else is going out to the hallway for a fight, right? To watch the fight in the hallway. I'm sitting in class, teacher not in there, everybody from out there. I'm like, man, whatever, they don't shit. Niggas come back like, oh. So then finally, I go out there. I said, man, this fight's some bullshit. I turn around. There's two ways to get into that room. The front door and then a back door that connects to the room next door. I turn around. My teacher's standing right there. Principal's office. Say, what in the fuck? Luckily, the principal wasn't there. It's a vice principal. And we knew her from before she was our vice principal. She was our counselor. So she was cool as fuck. But she just sent me back to class. Niggas was like, oh, I was like, it's nothing.
Yeah, see, the glasses helped me a lot because again, I had the opposite issue. I had the opposite issue where I would be the one doing some dumb shit. I actually ended up starting a lot of fights. Again, had issues. But because of the glasses, no one suspects me first, okay?
Hmm.
I've been told I look better without glasses. I refuse to because the glasses make it so that people don't feel as threatened. I use the nice guy look to get away with a lot of things. Yeah, it's actually hilarious to think about how varying lives are. Like all lives are so individual. It's honestly incredibly interesting.
Yeah. Like, we grew up tough. Malik is gay. Like, it's just, yeah, it's definitely crazy how
And then we have the nerve to try and put each other into groups, into categories. And it's just like, it's not possible. Not really.
it makes people feel better to be with those that are very similar to themselves. And being with people who already look like you, which is the first judgment you have, makes it a whole lot easier to want to be with that group of people.
I hated that. I
Like,
never wanted to be a part of any group. The moment someone associated me with something, I would attempt to change my behavior. I hate being put in a box.
I never really minded it. It's to me, because I analyze things, to me, it's judgment is literally how we move through life by judging things. How else are you going to know if something's dangerous? Whether or not you should do something. Like your instincts ain't gonna always kick in, so you have to use your fucking judgment. And judging stuff, part of judging stuff is determining whether or not a person fucking sucks because they look like that, because they're behaving like this. Like, how else are you supposed to judge something if you're not monitoring its behavior? And if
Yeah,
it's not doing anything, all you have to go off of is looks, stereotypes. You look like a motherfucker who would usually be on some shit. So I'm going to watch you a little bit more closely than the motherfucker light skinned nigga wearing glasses. I get it.
because I'm
Understand.
borderline a villain.
That's what's so crazy. And that's the thing though. Another reason as to why it's like this. I couldn't do what you do because I'm dark skinned.
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
will look at all the black men that get shot by police. They're usually dark skinned.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So you have the ability to do that. I genuinely don't. So it's things like that just makes people turn out a whole lot different. And I'm not saying if you were dark skinned, you wouldn't be the same fucking way, but it does play a very big
I would
factor.
have a harder time.
Yeah. Like they people would have been watching you a little bit more closely, even with glasses.
Hmm.
If it's three light skinned dudes and you dark skinned, but you the only one with glasses, you still the biggest suspect. The glasses don't cancel out the dark, unfortunately. Nothing really cancels out the dark.
They don't
No,
cancel with the dark.
something does cancel out the dark. A polo shirt. Something about a tucked in polo shirt just completely disarms all white men of a black man. Think about it. Really think about it. When have you ever seen a bad situation between a white man and a black man in a tucked in polo shirt? Never. Maybe the polo shirt was untucked, but if it was tucked, showing that brown rope belt and the
Fucking
khakis,
dogs.
that black man is not gonna have no problem with any white man ever for no reason.
That might be a camouflage thing.
Yeah, of
We're
course it
like,
is.
they look at the black man and they're like, yeah, he's trying to be like us.
Modern camouflage.
Yeah,
I was gonna
because
say, I would not tuck in a polo shirt to save my life.
but that's what it would take because I tested this. I tested all of this shit. I just be out here doing shit. So if you wear a suit, that'll help, but not to the extent of the tucked in polo shirt. They're getting used to black men wearing suits, lawyers, doctors, just businessmen in general. But a black man in a tucked in polo shirt, that's country club shit. They not used to us being at the country club yet, so it still fucking works. And then just switch up your voice a little bit. See,
I do a lot.
I'm probably a definition of code switch because I had to learn how to blend in with the niggas so they couldn't see through my facade. So I can just activate that shit. But I can
You
also,
know how much harder I would have to try because of how light skinned I am. Okay, so yeah, the close switch be severe.
yeah. But for me, when I gotta go to the other end of the spectrum, which is try to have that white in my voice, it don't, even when I do it, it's either gonna, if I do it a certain way, it's either gonna sound like I'm mocking white people or I'm just gonna sound weird. So what I do, I make my voice higher and I enunciate my words. I don't use slang or anything like that. It's like I'm giving a speech, throwing a smile, which I suck at. Just fucking just a black man
I
smiling is also another way.
master the fake smile.
Yeah.
Master the fake smile will get you anywhere as long as you can do it.
It took me a while because I was busy figuring out the mug, you know what I'm saying? So when I got to get to it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was practicing the other thing. Shit. It used to be a lot worse than what you see. It used to be like genuinely a creepy look because my eyes weren't in it. So it was just like niggas like, oh, I'm sorry. Fix it a little bit better. All right. Tell us to fear the white man. But if you think about just about every story we told, our problem was with black people, unless it was the cops. So, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, now I get it. You're more likely to have problems with your own race because you're around them. It's, the frequency of it. But despite that, if I still have multiple more memories with black people shitting on me than white people, whether or not I've been around enough white people, that's still going to affect my thought process. So, and not to mention, I'm tired of us and our excuses, bro. We have too much money amongst our community to still be making excuses. We have billionaire black people now. There is no more excuses.
I
None.
was just about to
I
say that, like, because like I tell people this all the time, like when people when people say things just like black people are being like held down and this and that and blah, and I'm just like, if black people are being held down, why are there so many successful black people in America? And then they're just like, oh, you can't use that as an excuse. That doesn't count. It's like, but it does count though, because you're saying that like we're not successful. But it's like, here are all these successful black people. So it's like, what are
Mhm.
you talking about?
Yeah. And I hope you don't think that the black community has billions of dollars. We don't. That's white money. White people got that money. They're the ones giving it to us. Now, we're not saying there's no more racism. We're not saying there's no more systematic racism. That's not what I usually say. I'm not saying that that's no longer there. I'm saying that if we know what the problem is, we know what the problem has been for decades now. We now have the tools to be able to do something about it, and we're still not. We're in the White House. We're in Congress. We're in the Senate. We have lawyers, doctors. We have business people. We have billionaires. Why are there still hoods? Why did we just invent a new word for dumb niggas, which is YN?
It's because no, see, and this is what really pisses me off. It's the idea that it is ingrained in African American culture to be a hood nigga. No, but see, that's a problem. That's not something we should be proud of.
We're proud of it because other races want to be like us.
You know
Asians
what's funny?
and breakdancing. What?
So feel free to disagree with me on this, but I think it's funny when black people get upset that white people want to be a part of rap culture, and people say things just like rap culture isn't white people culture, and it's like, if you really think about it, rap culture it's rap culture is American culture because it originated here in America. So anybody who's American can partake in rap culture. I mean, I'm getting this from like a YouTuber that I follow. I really like her, and she's black. And this is what she said, and I'm like, that makes sense. It's like, how are you over here saying that like it's originated here in America, therefore it's American
So
culture?
I don't disagree with you. I will play the devil's advocate though, and I'll say Black people like to gatekeep. We like whatever's ours, we want to keep it. And we're like that because in the slave days, they took our shit from us. They took our religion, they took our culture, they took our being, and they turned it into what they wanted. So now we have this epigenetic code in our minds to be like, if anybody tries to do what we do, we gotta tell them no, especially if we don't give them permission to.
It's just such a fucking toxic mindset because, see, in this, I want
I
people to
will say
understand.
though that like there are some, not all the time, but there are some instances where gatekeeping is a good thing. The LGBT community. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, but again, it's the idea that what I want not is the denial of it, but the understanding that by doing that, you are not fixing the issue, you are making it worse.
Yeah.
As long as you understand that, I have no problems with it. But it's that whole idea that it's like racism is so bad while you're steadily increasing racism. And it's just like,
Yeah.
We,
Just not racist if black people do it. Black people can't be racist. You sure about that?
by the definition of the word, no, but black people can be prejudiced, which is basically the same fucking thing. Racist. The only difference between racism being a racist and being prejudiced is that racism is about the power, and black people, we don't have the power yet. That's the only difference.
I
Prejudice and racism is pretty
kind
much the
of
same thing.
disagree on that, but that's all I'm gonna
mm,
say.
Disagree that racism and prejudice are the same thing.
No, the whole racism is prejudice plus power.
So, what do you think racism is?
Any indiscriminate, like the original definition before they added the whole you have to have power to be racist. Like the original definition, just like racism is like being prejudiced or discriminatory towards anybody who is a different race or ethnicity.
I have heard that. I think because both my parents are baby boomers, so they had me kind of old. So they tell me about a lot of stuff back then. My mom did tell me that you're right. The original definition that they gave of racist wasn't about power. It's just specifically about being prejudiced towards another race. And I don't know why they changed it somewhere along the way because it wouldn't make
But
sense for white.
the reason they changed it, is so that they could basically I'm trying to think of a way to explain it. They changed it so they could basically crap. It's like on the tip of my tongue, but it's like how like people are changing words nowadays to like fit. So like for example, like when people say lesbian is a non-man that loves another non-man. So let's say if you're a non-binary trans
No,
or
that's not
trans.
what a
No,
lesbian
no,
is a woman
no,
that
no,
likes another woman. When did we get to the point where we were like, a non-man is
well,
a
no,
fucking
no,
woman?
no. See,
no,
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah, and
I
that's what
don't
I mean.
want
Like
that.
they're changing words just to fit. That's what it is. They're changing words to fit a narrative, and that's what they did with the whole racism thing. They changed it
But
just to fit a narrative.
what's the narrative though? Is the question. This is how I'm looking at it. If the only people who really have the power to change the word like that back then were white people. What are white people gaining from making themselves the only ones in the world that can actually be a racist? A
No,
bad
but
thing.
like I'm saying, like when people say things just like, "Oh, black people can't be racist; they can be prejudiced," but you have black people saying horror things just like, "Yeah, this race needs to die. This, that, and the deserve, they
Prejudice.
deserve death." And it's like that is. I mean, isn't that not racist to say that an entire race deserves to die? Is that not racist?
It should be.
But it
It should
is,
be.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean.
especially
Like how they're changing things to fit a narrative.
it's one of those things where we changed it in order to excuse our actions so that they would seem better when they are exactly the same. It's the double standard type shit.
So you think we changed the definition of racism?
No, I'm not saying we did. I'm
I
saying whoever changed it.
But
yeah.
that's the question. Because I understand where you're coming from and I understand the thought process, but there are still holes that need to be filled. Who changed the word and why? Because like I said, it wouldn't make sense for white people to have done it. Because now you're the only ones that can be this bad, terrible fucking thing. Why would you even do that to yourself?
It would make sense though.
Because
It would make sense to continue to add fuel to the fire. People don't realize. Yeah, what people don't realize is that a lot of people don't want us to work together. It's in human nature more often than not to sabotage any working together of any kind. And
Hmm.
so while it wouldn't make sense logically, well, in a regular person's logic, if you want to keep people separated, the best thing you do is make the enemy think that they are in the right for continuing the separation.
that's the human race is so crazy. We don't like fucking with each other, but we love fucking with each
I have
other.
no choice. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, And I don't even know it's like we have no choice. It's literally like we make a conscious decision to keep fucking with each other because that's what we want to do. Like, even whether it's going to war, whether it's just camaraderie, we always clump up. We always clump up. So why do we have this thing in our brain that says don't work together when all we want to do is
Because
work together?
humanity was a giant fuck up. It was never supposed to actually go. I'm pretty sure we weren't supposed to continue as a race. And we're just so fucking stubborn that we kind of kept going, almost like cockroaches. We weren't supposed to keep going, but we ended up doing so because we refused to stop. Humans are inherently self destructive. We have tendencies that don't make sense. We are actually one of the few creatures that are completely illogical in the way we're supposed to function. And yet we do. It is a very absurd thing. I was watching an evolution show, and it was just like humans at our base are significantly worse than just about every other animal has significantly better things. And yet we somehow made it to the top. Why? Absurdity. Yeah, that brain. But see, the whole that brain is also the reason why we're all upset. So yeah, humans in every way aren't supposed to work, and yet we do. One of the strangest things.
It makes total sense to me, bro. Like at the very big, so I'm about to teach y'all something real quick. The key to life is mind, body, and spirit, and having those at their peak. And with those keys, there's a key to each one. The key to your physical is consistency, repetition, continuously doing something. Your mental is your experience, what you experience in life, how you're able to analyze it. Your spiritual is balance. There's balance all throughout life. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It doesn't matter if we're in space, here on Earth, on Mars. There's balance on that spectrum. That's first off. So now we getting into, as smart as we are, we can go take ourselves to space. As high as we can go, that's how low we have to be able to go to for the balance. That's why we work. Perspective, sorry. The key to your mental is perspective. That's the proper one. Repetition, perspective, balance. All you got to do is do those three things, and your life will naturally fall in order.
I think humanity as it is though has let go of spirit. We don't quite seem to be. It's sort of like one of those things where like it's better in a way, but also horrible in a way because I was not a fan of our spirits being attached to the idea of Christianity. But also, I do not like the idea of us completely getting rid of the spirit either. Where it's just like, because I have this issue where like I hate the concept that science can solve everything. Because
You
there are
know
certain
what?
things in the world that just
I agree with you. So 'cause I get like, I wouldn't say arguments or debate. Basically, me and my boyfriend, we talk about this type of stuff, and I'm just like, there's just a lot of things that science doesn't explain. And he told me, he's just like, science doesn't. He's just like, I'm not saying that. And I'm just like, I know, but a lot of people think it does, and it doesn't, because there's a lot of things that's like that can't be explained out there.
and there are things that shouldn't be explained.
That's where I am. Everything can be explained. Everything shouldn't be
What
explained.
the fuck is that?
Like everything, there's an explanation to everything, to how something works. It's just the basic laws of life. Everything works a certain way for a fucking reason. There's a reason why everything that's in space is in the shape of a fucking sphere. There are no cubes floating through space, no X's, no triangles, nothing with edges. Everything is fucking spherical in space. Why? Gravity and other fucking stuff. Okay. There's always an explanation. But are
See,
there some wonders we got to leave to rest? Should we really be exploring space? No,
We're going into some Dead Space or cosmic horror shit.
if we're lucky.
but see, I'm of like, we reach the same finish line, but on a different path. Because for me, I don't believe everything can be explained. I believe we as people will find a reason to explain things, even when there's not an actual reasoning for it. Like, what I mean by that is, you ever, no, this is a personal one, where you have taken English class, right? And your teacher tells you to read this text and then give a reason as to why the author wrote this certain passage a certain way.
It's like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to know?
No, see, for me, they wrote it this way because they wanted to. There's no actual deep meaning behind it. And yet we will go out of our way to find that meaning.
I will say, just for this specific scenario you just gave, as a writer, I can promise you every single word was chosen for a reason. It may not have this deep, you know what I'm saying, thought process, but there was definitely a reason why it was worded this way.
For me, I'm the opposite type of writer. For me, I try not to think too hard about my writing. I want it to be as natural as possible. Even when I'm writing different people, I almost make myself the person I am writing, right? Where like I'm not thinking about the true deep intricacies of it. I try and keep it as natural as I can.
I don't know because I don't have the research in me, but I'm almost like 80% sure that most of the best-selling novels, you can kind of tell that every word in there was specifically chosen for a reason.
See,
Anything,
for me, it's like, can you tell that it was chosen? Or is it because it was naturally chosen that you believe there was a reason for it?
I believe that just because it's not a deep meaning to something happening doesn't mean that there is no reason at all. It's levels to it. I believe there's levels to everything. Like
Hmm.
to me, a reason is a basic thing. It's at the base level. Why did this happen? Because. Even if it's just something as simple as because we wanted to.
Okay.
But even that has a thought process in it too, though, like your past experiences, like why you like to steal, why I like to behave myself. Like there's reasons at the base of it. Even if we don't even know what
For
the
me,
reason
it's
is.
reason for me comes after. For me, what starts is instinct, right? So, like,
Hmm.
the whole idea where you can ask a question over and over again about what your favorite color is, right? And like you'll know your favorite color. But if you have to actually give a reason as to what your why your favorite color is, and you keep asking why, you eventually reach a point in which you can no longer answer.
That's because people are looking for a deep meaning in something that doesn't have a deep meaning. Like your
But
favorite
yeah, see,
color can be blue, but that's what I mean though. Like there's a reason why you like the color blue. It may not be because your mother used to swaddle you in a blue blanket before she passed away when you were young. You know what I'm saying? It could just be just because I mean I think it looks like the best color. It's keen to my eye. That's the reason. Why is it kid to your eye? We'll probably never fucking know. But there is a reason why you like that color over the rest. It might be a mundane reason, but there's a reason.
see, I'm like, there is no reason. It just is.
That thinking of things are just because they are is probably why I am the way I am. Because I've lived damn near my life trying to prove that you can definitely decide what the fuck happens to you. But the only way to do that is to know why things are happening. And I found that there is, in
Yeah.
fact, always a reason why something is happening. Sometimes the reason is out of your control, but you wouldn't know that until you got to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
Get to the bottom of it.
I'm the opposite in that too. Because like for me, I'm like, they're just things you have no control over at all. You can have all the factors, and it just won't go your way. And so it's just better to move with the wave.
Some things are unavoidable, I like to say. I do know that you literally can't control exactly what happens to you, but where you wind up in certain points in your life, you can definitely 1,000% control that. How you respond to certain things, you can 1,000% control that. And how you respond to things then in turns determines where you go in life. And then the consistency of you behaving a certain way retools your physical consistency retools the perspective of your mental, and now you're behaving a certain way.
Humans are so fucking interesting.
Yeah, bro, we can spend the better part of the night doing this dance, bro. Like this is what
Mm.
I do. Like, and then I'm 30 now, so it's not just my analytical ability; it's now my experiences. And that's something I'm not trying to say you don't got your shit, but there are just certain things you just need to grow up a little more to start to understand. Because even when I was your age, I was always mentally ahead of everybody else. And even still now looking back, I'm like, damn, I really didn't know anything. Like, there's just so much to know. That's the thing. There's so much to know in order to keep yourself safe now. That's what it is. You got to know way too much. And now we got Trump coming in. That's going to be fun. I think it's going to be okay. But understanding why that nigga won is going to help us stay safe.
Exactly. I think we're gonna. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be okay.
We'll be fine no matter what. We'll get
Yeah.
through it. And technically speaking, even if everything were to fall apart, humans, because of our weirdness, would continue on. We're just a
Mm-hmm.
stubborn species.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what happens, it'll be fine. It's just how bumpy the road's going to get.
I'm hoping for a civil war, but that's just me.
No, that is not just you.
Mm.
Yeah, because I'm see. No, technically speaking, I'm a bit further. I'm hoping for complete anarchy, but I'm looking for a complete reset. But
A forever purse would be excellent.
I'm not even at where like I want it for my own good. No, I want it sort of simply because I want humanity to see that we are not as controlled as we think we are. And it's like I want you all to realize how animals you are, okay? Because you seem to have forgotten.
I think that right there is probably the actual problem we have as humans. Not because we're too smart, not because we're destructive, but because we forgot that we are fucking animals too. I've been saying that for a long time now. We like to think we're superior because we're smarter, but bro, we're still animals. A lot of our tendencies are very animalistic, not just our behavior, but how we do. There are just certain things that are just adherent to all animals. Things like bowing. All animals know what a bow is. It's a sign of submission at the base of it. I'm not a threat. You bow to any animal and they're more than likely either going to chill out or they going to chill out.
Or attack.
Yeah, or attack, but they
The-
probably not
Yeah.
unless they just wanted to fight you.
Yeah. Certain animals like to take advantage of weakness.
That, but they know you're at your weakest because you're bowing. I know you're not
Exploiting your
looking.
weakness. Yep.
The back of your neck for a lot of those carnivorous ones. Like, yeah. All right. I think we done talked enough
Yeah. No,
shit.
humans have definitely forgotten. Yeah.